Monsters at the movies. Thanks for listening.
He's got one foot in the frying pan and one in the pressure cooker. Believe me, as a bowler, I know that right about now, your bladder feels like an overstuffed vacuum cleaner bag, and your butt is kind of like an about-to-explode bratwurst.
Hey, do you mind? I wasn't talking when you were bowling.
Was I talking out loud?
Welcome to Munsons at the Movies. My name is Kyle, and once again be your host, joined by the rest of the Munsons. Want to give them a wide berth.
What is called a born loser? A real Munson.
And talk a little bit about what's going on in their worlds. This time we'll start with Case.
Well, I've been dreading this episode for a while. I do want to warn everybody, though, I'm extremely skilled at exiting uncomfortable conversations. So if I go silent and dark for a long time, it's just like when you go to a party and everybody's talking about something that they really like and you can't stand it. And so you just like exit stage right. That's what I'm going to do tonight.
There's nothing I've wanted more in my life in the past year than to be prepared for this conversation.
I just don't understand how he became such a massive star. I just don't get it.
We'll see who you hate more, him or Kevin Spacey, when it's all said and done. Aubrey.
This has got to be my third most anticipated episode. Michelle Williams is obviously a far away first.
Yeah.
Second was my first ever appearance. This has to be it. I've thought about this so many times. I think it's also important for everyone to know that I am skilled and have a special talent of being able to draw people into conversations that they don't particularly want to be a part of because they're withdrawing from them because they're uncomfortable. Like, that's what
Why you're a good teacher?
I also am armed with hot takes, but I am not going to steal his thunder.
Oh, I'm probably going to agree with him. They may not be so hot after all.
Spicy. James.
Coming to the end of the summer here and coming up on a year anniversary of being gainfully employed. This podcast has seen me go from quitting my job to going to school to trying to find a job. And then the last year I've been actually employed. So it's nice to be a tax-paying, contributing member of society.
It's been a whole year already?
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. You have had quite the personal story arc since the start of this podcast, James.
Oh, dude, I know. It's wild to think there's like a audio record of a once-in-a-lifetime quarantine and leading to me being married to the same woman multiple times and having a child. Yeah, so there's a lot that's happened over the last few years.
When this episode hits, I will be headed to the Europe. And I will be leaving for 10 days to Ireland and Portugal. And so if you're listening to this, I can't be found. I am off the grid. Do not call me. Do not text me. If you want to find me in the land of Guinness, I will be happy to have a beer with you. But I will be occupied, which means I probably won't watch a whole lot in prep for our next episode. But hey, that's why we have Case here. He does all the watching and listening for us.
Is that a hint of who it'll be? We have to decode Kyle's statements.
I love that.
Is he doing on the ground research?
Well, you can see the list of 5 actors at the bottom of the show notes. You can, start to parse some things. Combine that with whatever you think Dan Craig would do, and you might come up with some stuff. We're excited to welcome back one of our very frequent guest Munsons, and that's Lauren Hopkins Price. She's a higher education professional, and she lives in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She loves to travel and has been to 12 countries and 40 states. When she's not doing all those things, Lauren works as a background actor and has worked on over a dozen films and TV shows. She previously joined us for the Angelina Jolie, Maya Rudolph, Elliot Page, Kristen Bell, and Dennis Quaid episodes. Welcome back, Lauren.
Woo!
Thank you. It's great to be back. I will also be off the grid drinking beer on August 28th, but I will be camping in Pennsylvania, which is absolutely the same thing as Ireland and Portugal.
Still cool.
My husband is in the process of converting a window in our camper into a thing he can run beer tap lines through.
Nice.
Oh.
I'm like, well, that'll be fun.
It's practical.
So any background acting since the last time we talked to you?
Had a baby. That's what I did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mom life.
Which was kind of a shame because there was some cool stuff that filmed here in Pittsburgh this summer and like earlier this year. I was like, oh, that would have been fun to work on. And I would see the casting updates and I was like, oh, that'd be fun. And I didn't make it to any of them.
It's got to be torturous.
Lauren, glad to have you back.
Yeah.
Let's dig into Harry Ford. I think it's going to be a good one. Episode 123. All right, birthdays, August 28th. We got 3 good ones here. First and foremost, we have Jack Black, known for things like Tenacious D, School of Rock, High Fidelity, Nacho Libre, Tropic Thunder, King Kong, Jumanji, Minecraft movie, Super Mario Bros. Movie, Goosebumps, Kung Fu Panda, Borderlands, The Big Ear, The Polka King, The Holiday, and Gulliver's Travels, everybody's favorite Chris O'Dowd movie. How old is Jack Black?
Oh, and he grows that wacky beard. I think he even puts gray in it, so it's tough to tell. I'm going to go 50.
He's the epitome of my white guy problem. I have no idea how old this person is.
Well, I mean,
I have no idea. He could be anywhere between a range of 30 years.
yeah.
And I would find that as an acceptable answer.
I feel like he's like closer to mid 50s. I'm going to say 54.
These are all good answers. I wish I went first. I'll go higher. I'll go 59.
52.
Jack Black referenced on the last episode because Tim Robbins got him his first big role. He is turning 56. So Lauren, our guest Munson, takes that first one.
Oh,
That's
All right, next up we have Jennifer Coolidge, known for American Pie, A Cinderella Story, White Lotus Season 2, A Mighty Wind, the Minecraft movie, The Fungies, Promising Young Woman, Mascots, Click, Legally Blonde, Best in Show, and A Night at the Roxbury, where she plays one of the hottie cops. How old is Jennifer Coolidge?
Oh, that's right.
If you would have went from the Minecraft movie and just listed off the rest of Jack Black's movies, would anybody have noticed?
I will say she's in both first and second season of White Lotus, and she's incredible in both of those. Spoiler alert, she lives through season 1 since she's in season 2. Someone dies in every season, for those of you who haven't watched it.
Here, I thought it was just flashbacks.
Yeah.
She struck a pop culture chord in season 2, that's for sure.
Oh, dude, she's so funny.
All right. Hot take number 1, guys. She's on my list of least favorite people to see and stuff.
Oh.
I don't think you're alone. I don't think that's that hot of a take.
I find her incredibly annoying.
What about the Discover commercials?
Oh, no.
I didn't think it was a hot take either until that White Lotus run. And everyone just talked about how much they loved her. Even though I'm not a fan, I'm still a gentleman. And I have eyes. So she's obviously 22 years old.
That's way too young. 33.
I appreciate you guys not wanting to go over. That's nice.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Oh, see, I feel like I can go over and it's like less offensive, but
Yeah.
maybe it's not, and I just am rude.
James never cares.
No.
Nope.
Equal opportunity.
I actually feel like she's like 62, 63. We'll say 63.
I'm going above that. I'm going to say 67.
Lauren, 2 for 2, because she's turning 64.
Oh.
So
Dang.
Oh.
Lauren wins the game, but Case and Aubrey win at life, I guess.
Oh, my luck. She would be the one that would actually listen to this.
We have Daniel Stern, known for City Slickers, the Home Alone films, The Wonder Years, Breaking Away, Whip It, Dilbert, Bushwhacked, Rookie of the Year, Hannah and Her Sisters, and the Milagro Beanfield War. How old is Daniel Stern?
That last one's made up.
No, it's real.
That is not real.
That was the one that gave it away for me.
It's from 1988. It's a comedy drama, hour 57. Christopher Walken.
Comedy dramas. Give me 68.
I feel like this guy's like 110 years old.
Wasn't he the voice of the Wonder Years?
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like he's been the same age for like 30 years.
Yes.
Like when I look at him. Yeah, which doesn't help.
He's the exact example that Aubrey talks about in regards to middle-aged white men when you first meet them in like the 80s. They've gotten better at aging. He's been 45 for 45 years.
Yeah.
If it's helpful, it was Lauren's episode. His first ever role was in Breaking Away with Dennis Quaid. So I don't know if that helps you.
It doesn't.
72.
Now we're giving out clues.
He's so bitter.
Yeah, huh?
Give me 61.
I'm going to say 64.
Lauren did not win this one, and although Case was mad at me, I could give all the hints because you nailed it right on the head. He's turned 68, so I could give all the 1979 breaking waves that I want, Case. You won.
Oh.
Happy birthday to them and anybody else for the birthday on August 28th. Episode 123, we had 5 actors we threw onto the wheel. They included, but were not selected, Jonah Hill, Diane Ladd, Sam Neill, and Kristen Scott Thomas. But the wheel selected Harrison Ford, 85 acting credits, 1 writing credit, 3 producing credits, and Craig Case's Mortal Enemy. Lauren said, hey, I want to see how that goes. So let's do Harrison Ford. So we're going to dig into roles we loved, roles we hated. But before we get into the minutia, all those details, we start with a little actor trivia to see if James can stump us Fast and Furious style.
Yeah, so Lauren, you're part of the initiate. You know this game, but for those of you who are new listeners at home, I'm going to read off 3 facts here, 2 of which are going to be true about the man of the hour, Harrison Ford, 1 of which is not going to be true about Harrison Ford, but is going to be true about one of the many illustrious cast members of the Fast and Furious franchise. Everyone here is going to have to guess which one that is. Fact number 1, he has a species of Central American ant and spider named after him. Fact number 2, is a licensed pilot, but recently took a break from flying himself when he had to make an emergency landing when his plane malfunctioned while flying over the Pacific Ocean. Fact number 3, at the time of his divorce, it was the most expensive in the history of Hollywood. Today, it's ranked 4th.
Good facts. Jesus.
These are incredible facts.
My instinct is to say that all 3 of them are about Harrison Ford, but I'm going to lack my normal witty banter and go for the joke, and I'm going to answer this one legitimately. I think the lie is fact number 2, and that's about Jason Statham, who, as we all know, pilots the plane in The Expendables with Sylvester Stallone.
Not a bad guess.
Not a terrible guess.
He seems like the type of adrenaline junkie where you might be spot on.
I think it's got to be fact 1 because everybody knows about that like South African spider, the Bow Wow long legs. It has to be Bow Wow. That's the best I could come up with in a really short amount of time with the arachnid.
And Kyle, you nailed it.
Nailed it. Game's over. Kyle won.
Game's over, guys. Kyle got it.
Weirder names have been created in the world. So,
I mean, I feel like expensive divorce could be about any number of people that are in the Fast and Furious franchise at this point. Which I don't think I've seen any of them. Still going strong on that.
I could summarize it for you.
It's about family.
Yeah, Case did it for me. There you go.
I think the second one is the lie because I feel like you're going to do one of those things where it was like, yeah, he was a pilot and the plane had trouble, but it didn't land in this place. It actually landed in this place.
Oh, good call.
But who do I think is going to be a pilot?
Noel Guglielmi. Lucas Black might be a pilot. You never know, honestly.
I feel like if I'm really trying to answer the question correctly, the bet is with James to go Charlize. So that's my guess.
That's just good odds.
I really wanted to go John Cena, but I think I'm going Charlize. I'm playing the odds.
So I'll start with fact number 3. At the time of his divorce, it was the most expensive in the history of Hollywood. Today, it's ranked 4th. That's true. At the time of his divorce from Melissa Matheson, it was the most expensive in the history of Hollywood. The couple divorced in 2004 after 21 years of marriage. While it's no longer the record-breaking settlement, it was a substantial one where she received around between $85 and $100 million. Number 3 in divorce settlement would be Steven Spielberg, who paid his wife $100 million. Dr. Dre is just above Spielberg. That's $150. Yeah. But then number 1 is so far and away number 1, and this isn't like a tech mogul billionaire. It is a entertainer through and through. Anyone want to take a guess at the actor?
Oh, Elvis.
I mean, not a bad guess. I'm assuming Priscilla had every right to every dime he had. Yeah.
It's not a bad guess. Tom Cruise?
You're in the right path. It's Mel Gibson.
Oh, that's right.
Famously has been insane for a good 20 years.
Scientology. You were close. You were damn close there.
He paid his wife $425 million. Almost triple number 2.
Wow.
But that's what happens when there's audio recording of you saying the most vile things on earth to her. Well-deserved is how I would call it. couple of you guys guessed fact number 1, that he has a species of Central American ant and spider named after him. That's actually true. In honor of his conservation work, which he began after the commercial success of Indiana Jones and that franchise, so it's like the end of the 80s, his conservation work became pretty extensive. He got super involved in the national parks. He's on boards here and there. He will lend his voice for free to a lot of the documentaries that they put out because he believes in it. And to honor him, they named a Central American ant and spider named the Piedole harrisonfordi and the Calponia harrisonfordi after him.
Wild.
Respect. Love that move. Also love the names.
No, that's pretty cool.
Oh, wow, Harrison Ford's turning them already.
Nope.
He goes up a half point for the bugs. And fact number 2 is a licensed pilot recently took a break from flying himself when he had to make an emergency landing due to a plane malfunction while he was flying over the Pacific Ocean. So, Aubrey, you were right. I changed a bunch of the words around to fit this in here. But normally I end with who it is from the Fast and Furious franchise. But because of how awesome the Harrison Ford stories are being a pilot, I'm going to end with him. So this fact's actually about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who's most famously known for how great he is in the Fast and Furious franchise. He actually has his commercial airline pilot because he's rich enough to buy his own commercial jet. And he had a mechanical issue mid-flight as he was trying to make the UFL season opener, which he was going from Hawaii to Houston. This happened like 4 months ago. He was like having a panic attack. He's like, what do I do? And they're like, dude, turn around. You're not going to that opener. And so he went back to Hawaii and said, all right, well, what can you do? Ford, the stuff is incredible. So he's a licensed pilot of both fixed-wing aircraft and helicopters. And he's actually provided emergency helicopter services twice in Wyoming. Once he picked up an EMT and brought him to a hitchhiker who was suffering from dehydration and stuck on a mountain. And then the following year, he was flagged down by a 13-year-old Boy Scout who was lost in Yellowstone, and he was able to save both of those people. Incredible. But then I also just want to share this. Harrison Ford's been in multiple plane accidents. You guys want to guess how many plane accidents he's been the pilot for and how many total he's been in his life?
Isn't it like 5, James? Like he's been in 5 accidents or something like that?
He has been in 5 crashes. He's been the pilot for 4 of them. I think at a certain point, you know how like as your parents age and you're like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be driving yourself around anymore.
Yeah.
Imagine if your father was Harrison Ford and was a pilot and you're like, Dad, how many times does this has to happen before you hang up the old aviators, 4 times as a pilot, once as a passenger.
Nah, he's still flying that plane.
It happens once, whatever.
Yeah, mistakes happen.
Twice, correlation. But by the third one, causation, 100%.
By the third time, I think you have a death wish. I think you're just like, this is how I'm going out, and I'm just waiting for it to happen.
Those are wild.
All right, good job, James. Case, let's see what you did with your unbiased box office snapshot.
He unsurprisingly puts up big numbers, right? When analyzing actors strictly upon era, I think Harrison Ford might be the biggest movie star we've covered. And the numbers back this up. Bolstered by being the key role in multiple franchises, having really good project selection, it's tough to argue with how he stacks up against other actors we've looked at. Nearly 80% of his movies have turned a profit. American Graffiti is the second highest return on investment that we've covered. And according to By the Numbers website, he is the 9th highest domestic gross leading actor of all time. So yeah, I think he's done well for himself, and I think that divorce hurt, but it certainly didn't set him back too far. So rather than drudge for the negatives in his box office snapshot, let me just run through some of the incredible rankings. Largest budget, number 1. Average budget, 15, with a $63.4 million average, which is amazing because the bulk of his movies are in the 80s and 90s. Highest opening, number 4, with Star Wars Force Awakens. Highest world gross, number 4, Star Wars Force Awakens. Total box office, he's 3rd with $11.1 billion, which is wild. Again, 80s and 90s. And I don't do any inflation because I'm not smart enough to do that. But here are the numbers that we have comparative information for. Star Meter, 15th. And this one's amazing. I'm going to circle back to this in a second. Critic ranking, he's 18th with 65%. Fan ranking, he's 15th with 66.5%. And he ranks second and third in our box office metrics. Anybody want to take a guess where Harrison Ford lands on our list?
Top 123, I think.
He is definitely in the top 123.
He's got to be top 10, right?
He's probably number one, honestly.
To give grace to the other actors, I was going to say 5, but it sounds like it might be higher.
Harrison Ford ranks number 1 on our box office metrics.
There you go.
By a long shot.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Everybody's like 1% to 2% ahead or behind each other. He's over 7% ahead of Maggie Smith. In the all numbers, he ranks second, only behind Chris Pratt. It's incredibly impressive that the bulk of his work was done in the 80s and 90s. I think even more impressive is when I looked at his star meter. At time of recording, like I said, he ranks 15th at 229. The lowest in his career he has ever been is 370. And that would rank him 18th on our list. He's just the biggest movie star I think we've ever covered when you're putting somebody within their era. It's very impressive.
So I've thought about this probably more than anything else. Well, second most outside of Case's hatred throughout the time of this prep. And I don't really know how to frame the question because movie star has so many different connotations for people. But has there ever been an actor with more of a pop culture impact than Harrison Ford?
Across decades?
It would be tough to find.
He went from Indiana Jones to Han Solo, or Han Solo and Indiana Jones.
Yep.
That's massive.
It has covered 5 different decades, the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and the 2020s. It really is amazing.
I find it hard-pressed to find anyone in cinema that can touch it.
The only one I would argue, Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
I think that's a good one too, but how many characters are bigger and more notable than Indiana Jones?
Not many. I mean, if any.
Or Han Solo. Like, he has both of them.
Yeah, and he started the Jack Ryan character.
Jack Ryan is not someone that I personally am well invested or connected to, but Jack Ryan is a character of serious note. How many times has that character been recycled?
He started it and there's been 5. It really is impressive. His career is incredibly impressive, especially, I mean, in the box office alone.
It's an interesting premise to start with, Aubrey, of if he is the biggest movie star of the generation, what led him there? That's what we get the opportunity to do. Dig into the early stuff, all the way to where we're at now on shrinking and things like that. So, thanks, Case.
Yeah, man.
So James said this. The guy is super fascinating. You dig into his Wikipedia, there's so many little fun facts. But born in 1942 in Chicago, he was actually born about 4 miles northeast of where I live in Avondale, right down the road.
There you go.
Both of his parents were like devoutly religious and came from religious families. And when people would ask him, "What religion are you?" he said, "My parents raised us proudly Democrat."
Yeah.
They actively were not a religious family, but they were a very politically outspoken family, which I find funny because both my parents were raised incredibly strictly religious, and they went out of their way to not really do any of that with their children.
And I'm just now connecting the dots too, considering how many times he plays a role where he's fighting Nazis in his career. He was born during World War II, which I just haven't drawn that conclusion yet, so that's interesting.
His mother's family is Jewish immigrants. And so they're like, "Oh, are you Jewish?" He's like, "No, we're Democrats. But let me tell you, we hate Nazis, that's for sure."
As a firmly anti-Nazi podcast, big fan, extra points. And I'll circle back to that in my Munson Meter later tonight. He was a Boy Scout. He reached the rank of Life Scout. Case, did you get to that level? I don't think so.
Nope.
Put some respect on this man's name. You know what I'm
I
saying?
didn't know we were having a comparison between me and Harris. I mean, we can end this comparison competition. I'm going to fall short in every category. So
he graduated high school in Park Ridge, Illinois, had a radio show while he was there.
You know who was one of his classmates? And this wasn't one of the facts I threw in there. Hillary Clinton.
what?
Yeah, of all the people to be in high school. There you go.
Wow.
You know she ran that yearbook like it was the Navy.
Oh, yeah.
You will turn your spreads on time.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. He went to Ripon. Is it Ripon College in Wisconsin? I don't know if I know how to pronounce that properly. Ripon, something like that.
That's how I would read it.
He studied philosophy, was a member of Sigma Nu fraternity. He was expelled for plagiarism 4 days before he graduated.
Tough seed.
That's some wild accountability. Like at that point, you got to let it go, right?
Usually I'm just like, whatever, get out of here. I don't want to deal with you anymore.
Different time.
Here's the question. Did they give him an honorary degree eventually?
Did that? I don't know.
I doubt.
That's a terrible decision on their part.
Yeah.
He's probably got 200 honorary degrees.
I can guess how many times somebody from the university has tried to scrub that from the Wikipedia page.
For sure.
Because they would love to just tout him as a famous alumni.
In an article here, it says, despite not graduating from Ripon College, they recognize him as a notable alumnus and offered him an honorary degree, which he declined.
I have not shot.
Love that. Love that.
Integrity, baby. He's back.
All right. Now I'm starting to come around on Harrison Ford.
So he started his acting career doing summer theater and eventually signed a contract with Columbia Pictures, their new talent program. So that would have been probably the mid to late 60s.
One of his early jobs while he was, trying to get in the acting world was, you got to pay the bills. And so he was a roadie for the Doors.
Yeah, he was also a carpenter, early 20s too. And while he was hustling to get acting roles, so he had 2 uncredited non-speaking roles there, he was also a carpenter. And he was just unhappy with the type of work he was getting because his first film was in 1967. He played Lieutenant Shaffer in A Time for Killing, really small role. But as a struggling actor who's just trying to make their name in the world of entertainment, make a living, right? Like James talked about, and you do some carpentry. He married Mary Marquardt in 1964. They were married until 1979. They had 2 sons together in 1966 and 1969. I believe he has 5 kids altogether. And that's also when he started his flight training and became a licensed pilot there in the late 60s. So the career that led him to saving lives started at that time as well. But that's going to take us to what we're calling his first major role, which is what Case talked about was the second biggest box office return we've ever seen. And that is his role as Bob Falfa in American Graffiti in 1973, a George Lucas picture. And Lauren, our guest Munson, is going to talk about it.
So I had actually never seen this movie, but I felt like it was one of those movies that everybody talks about and everybody's just seen. And I was like, this is a great opportunity for me to watch this and see why everyone loves it so much. Spoiler alert, I still don't see why everyone loves it so much, but I understand its cultural impact. I understand why boomers might like it. So American Graffiti came out in 1973, and it was actually the first movie that George Lucas did under the Lucasfilms banner. So the film itself takes place in 1962 in Modesto, California, and they filmed in a couple different places in California, had to change locations due to some permit and permission hiccups. Ron Howard is actually credited in this as Ronnie Howard, so that's where he was in his career. Richard Dreyfuss, which is funny because I was literally watching another Harrison Ford movie today and he was in it too, and I was like, oh, this comes full circle decades later. They actually made American Graffiti with a budget of around $800,000. I don't do math, but I think if you put it into 2025 terms, it would be somewhere in the neighborhood of like $4 to $5 million.
They just had to pay for a lot of gas for cars idling at stop signs.
The whole movie, yes.
Yeah.
I think that was most of their budget. But over time, it's earned over $200 million in the box office and home revenue. It was nominated for 5 Oscars, including Best Picture. To me, I think that just reiterates that anytime films are nominated for Oscars, I usually hate them. And I think this kind of rang true there, too. I think my frustration with movies like this is there's no plot. It's a series of vignettes. There's a lot of little things happening, but I keep waiting for them to, like, get to the point, quote unquote. And the point was to showcase this, was to kind of evoke feelings of nostalgia. And I think that certainly rings true now, 50 years later. Certainly, this is like the first major film that Harrison Ford was in. I don't think that he had a major role in it, though. He was there. You do get to see him sing a little bit. You know, if you're going back to his Spotify career, I don't know if you'll find that on there. But he plays Bob Falfa, drag racer. Again, I really struggled through this personally. It's not my cup of tea. But at the same time, I was like, I get how it had such a cultural significance and why it still does now. Seeing this after seeing a lot more of his work, an interesting start to see like where he went after this.
The slice of life film, kind of aimless. It just shows you a night of these guys driving around town.
Mm-hmm.
All of the reasons that you've described, Lord, is still the reason why I won't watch this movie. Every description of it is like, I'm happy other people like it. I have no interest in watching it.
I like this movie. I like slice of life films where there's no plot. Like, I just enjoy like the observational nature of the night. While his role wasn't huge in it, he is the antagonist of the movie. The movie crescendos with him in this race against the other guy. He's basically the bad guy of the film. There's not really a bad guy, but
yeah, he is the closest thing to a true villain that this movie had.
It's not a one scene speaking part. He's in probably 4 or 5 different scenes.
This was a big watch for me. This was my first time watching it. I have not heard a ton about this movie.
That's interesting. So
I worked at Universal when I got married, Universal Studios in Orlando. I worked at Mel's Drive-In. I had no idea what the fuck that was when I was working there. So I was working there and I had the little paper hat on. I was aware of the time period I was in, and I always found that really interesting. I was like, okay, young black guy working at Mel's Drive-In at this time. This is interesting. That's the extent of my knowledge of what was going on. When I got into films more, I had heard of American Graffiti, but I didn't know anything about it. I will chalk that up to my ignorance over culture, but, I'll let you decide what is the real reason I don't know anything about this movie. I thought I was really excited to watch it because I'm like, yo, Mel's Drive-In. I'm like, all right, let's see what inspired my workplace. I love this movie. I love this movie so much. It's arguably my favorite Harrison Ford movie.
Oh, wow.
I absolutely love this movie. I love everything about it. I mean, it is a slice of life type thing. My wife doesn't like these type of movies, so she just kind of checks in and checks out. It's like, okay, I know what this is. It gives an opportunity, when done well, to make a lot of observations. And I think this movie does that. It leaves a lot of room for observations. But one of the things I probably like the most is that it's just the hangout movie. Just, hey, what are young people doing in this time period? And I love that multiple generations have movies like that. And there's a through line in it. Because, the goal and the small tasks are all relatively the same. I don't think there's like standout performances or, exquisite cinematography or anything like that. I just think this movie rules. And I say this respectfully, Harrison Ford is my least favorite part.
Now Case is listening. He's like, yes, let the hate flow.
I mean, in terms of him being an antagonist, I think he works as a physical manifestation of an antagonist.
Yeah.
I think if you want me to get into like a film critic bag, then the antagonist is a different thing to each of the main characters.
You could see this movie being an inspiration for like Richard Linklater, like the types of films he's made over the years.
Yep. I think you see through lines of movies like this all the way up even to stuff like American Pie, where it's like a group of young people are just living life in their community or in their environment. I think you see through lines of American Graffiti all throughout generations in movies like this. And I mean, Richard Linklater has, a few of those, so I think that's dead on as well.
Everybody Wants Some is one I think of.
Yep.
Lauren, I'm sorry you didn't like it.
It's okay. I'm glad I watched it, though. And I feel like I need to see this. I need to see what it's all about.
It was made very cheaply because everybody's pretty unknown in this movie. This got me on a whole binge case on YouTube of like movies that had the most star power in the films that were unknown at the time. And that this was like number 2 on that list, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a lot of people in this movie that went on to have huge careers.
When I've listened to movie people talk, this is probably the most highly revered movie that I hear people talk about. And another one that's coming up, Harrison Ford is also in. Early in his career, he's in some of these timeless masterpieces.
If this is a type of movie that you like, then you gotta watch it because it's among the best of this type of movie that I've ever seen.
After American Graffiti, 4 years later, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, Han Solo had an affair with Carrie Fisher on set, allegedly. Allegedly, don't come after me.
Don't come after me.
In regards to Star Wars, so I rewatched this one specifically, A New Hope. I had seen all the Star Wars. I'm generally not a huge fan of them, but I don't actively hate them. I think there's like 10 movies, and I think there's like 3.5 good ones. And I will say that I think Harrison Ford is great in his role. I think he plays the kind of reluctant, blue-collar, cool guy very well. And I think it is awesome in this franchise specifically. They capitalized on that. Best friend is a Wookiee, and they seem to have like genuine chemistry. And he just does it well. You know, someone falls in love with him, he doesn't really care. I will say that his character is one of those characters that you're like enthralled by as you're watching this. And it makes sense that he became, you know, one of the main characters in this story. The charisma is very obvious when it comes to this role in him.
He's an endearing, degenerate gambler is the best way I would describe his character. Especially these first 3 films, the big storyline with him is how much money he owes Jabba the Hutt.
This starts out with my conflict because I love the character of Han Solo. I love the character of Indiana Jones. These are tough conversations with me because I love the way these characters are written, and I think he nails Han Solo. The Harrison Ford conversation my entire life has been a difficult one because of the great characters he's played. But I also think George Lucas is a genius, and he's a genius storyteller, which means he probably is a genius at character development. And so how much of that throughout his career does Harrison Ford benefit from?
Every good actor's got to have great writing.
Agreed, 100%.
Han Solo is all charisma to me.
Yeah.
I'm becoming a bigger and bigger Star Wars fan almost by the day because I'm kind of chronologically going through all of the Star Wars stuff. And I love it. I don't think any of them are all that great of actors, James Earl Jones aside. How that all works is fascinating to me because it is what Case says. It's George Lucas. And Harrison Ford's charisma makes Han Solo the most interesting person on the screen all the time. Yep. Which is what powers that movie and that trilogy from an entertainment standpoint, which you have to give credit to Harrison Ford for that. But the question is relevant of like how character archetype is a George Lucas thing, which the way that I would describe Han Solo is he is every single action movie character since Han Solo. Every single person that's been an action character is basically a version or variation of Han Solo.
That's interesting.
Which is incredible. Star-Lord is literally Han Solo.
Yeah, for sure.
Any action movie you watch, it's this aloof guy who has a troubled, degenerate type of thing that's holding him back, that he has to overcome and make the decision if he's going to be a good guy or a bad guy. Is he going to do the right thing? He usually has an odd friend that doesn't really fit in with anybody, but he has a bond with. It's true of almost every single lead action movie character up into when Scarlett Johansson co-opted it for Jurassic World Rebirth.
Are you describing Han Solo in Star Wars or John McClane in Die Hard? Because it sounds like you're talking about Bruce Willis in Die Hard. But yes, so to make your point, I agree with you.
Or Indiana Jones. Are we going to talk about the Star Wars movie that I definitely thought Case was going to rewatch for this podcast? The Force Awakens? Are you going to do that now when Han Solo dies?
Spoilers.
I had a student spoil that for me.
Oh.
Kid walked into my class and he goes, "Hey, Mr. McKay, do you like Star Wars?" I go, I mean, it's all right. He's like, "Are you going to see The Force Awakens?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to see it." He looks me dead in my eyes and goes, "Han Solo dies."
Oh, good grief. Fail that kid.
If all the worst things in life happen to you.
I ripped this kid.
Kyle, did we watch Force Awakens with Adam Driver, right? Adam Driver's great in that movie.
It works as a function of a character death. I think the legacy characters, Han Solo, again, works the best. And it's a charisma thing. What Adam Driver is able to play off of Harrison Ford's charisma and the legacy of Han Solo, that character is
really well done.
Incredible. And for it to work over the course of so long is insane.
Next role we're going to talk about is Largest Critic Gap, which is a movie called Hanover Street from 1979. It plays a character named David. It's my review. Did any of you poor chaps and gals watch Hanover Street?
Did not.
I attempted.
Me too.
I have a bloody trail of did not finishes that is longer on this episode than any other episode we've had.
I was too pumped to watch all the Indiana Jones movies. I didn't watch this one.
This is not a good movie.
I will color this review to say I've watched more Harrison Ford movies to prep for this episode than I have any actor in a while, including 3 Indiana Jones, the 3 Star Wars films, a bunch of other stuff. And this was by far the worst movie I watched of anything from Harrison Ford. It's a Critic app because it's got 70% from the critics, 40% from the audiences. But if you go to IMDb, it's got a 32 Metascore.
Yeah.
So I think the Rotten Tomatoes critics were high. They were on some kind of bath salts. They're hanging out in Florida, bunch of Florida men. Something's wrong. So here's the plot for anybody not named Case or I. Margaret is a nurse in England during World War II and married to a secret agent. Things get complicated when she falls for David, an American pilot. That's Harry Ford. The movie appears on the outset to be a war movie, but really it's just a love story with the backdrop of war, which makes it really lame. I'm going to be completely honest with you. He replaced Chris Christopherson in this role. Case, did you know that?
What? No, I didn't know that.
He decided to go on tour instead.
Okay.
Great decision that Chris Christopherson made.
Nope. Chris Christopherson would have made this into a winner.
That's a theory. We're allowed to have those. As a result of KK stepping back, the original actress also backed out. She must have heard Harrison Ford was cast. Am I right, Case?
Right. It wouldn't be bad. I mean, it's a good move on her part.
You're right. This has Harrison Ford's first on-screen kiss 10 years into his career. These are facts you guys came for. Apparently, he took the role after Christopherson dropped out because he wanted to be a romantic lead for the first time in his career. But he said in an interview it was an absolutely terrible experience. Considering this came out after Star Wars, it was his first true lead role in a film. And he said he's never seen the finished film. And Case and I have something in common with him because I also haven't seen the finished film.
Yeah.
There are a lot of parts of this movie that are frustrating. The acting, obviously, the cinematography is really bad. The story.
Yeah.
They're all exhausting. But the worst part was the sound mixing. I felt like I was going to destroy the speakers in the TV in the hotel in Colorado because when they were talking, it was so quiet. And then you go from just bombs and explosions that are going to blow at every speaker that exists in human existence. In the score, too. Like, the score was so loud. I don't know who the sound mixing team was, but it really hurt me. Yeah, it's interesting from the fact that, like, he tried the romantic lead role thing and then said never again because of Hanover Street. So I guess he left that archetype in the 70s.
I don't know why he has any romantic storylines in any of his movies. Because he has the same, like, romantic charisma in his movies that Peter Mayhew has in Star Wars. And if you know, you know. There doesn't need to be romantic angles in almost any of his movies.
Nope.
And so I don't understand why writers and directors were including them when he does some things very well, and that is not one.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a movie in the 90s. Case. I had that exact thought where I was like, I like the movie, I hate the romantic angle taken.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the bigger criticisms I have of Star Wars, particularly the original trilogy.
Him and Leia.
I don't buy it at all. It never works for me, really.
No.
All the way through The Force Awakens, it doesn't really work for me.
His range doesn't extend to romantic lead, co-lead, side story, anywhere in his career. I can say that with pretty...
No.
The Indiana Jones stuff, like, you go for the other pieces, not for that.
It is heartwarming to hear he didn't like this movie as well, so that makes me feel better.
He's never seen it, so he can't form a full opinion.
Good for him.
14 years until the next review. So first thing there is one of the all-time great movies, Apocalypse Now. Plays Colonel Lucas. Yeah. Small role. I think we talked about in the chat today.
You guys know the backstory behind his character, right? It's an homage to George Lucas. Francis Ford Coppola cast him in this movie and allowed the character to be named Colonel Lucas.
Oh.
Apparently, Harrison Ford's whole, like, acting was, they're like doing an imitation of George. This is a wild movie.
Well, The Empire Struck Back in 1980. So Han Solo was back at it again, 3 years after the original.
Gets his ass frozen.
Yes, he does. He's in a block at the end of the second one.
I do have a mild beef with this movie and his role. There's no way he's cooler than Billy D. Williams. And yet that's what we're led to believe. Come on, George Lucas, you're losing it.
You know why they did that. Don't make me say it.
Okay, fair.
You know why they did
I just had to get that out. Indiana Jones, outside of several Danny McBride characters, is my favorite pop culture character of all time. I love the Indiana Jones character.
It inspired a generation of archaeology nerds.
Certainly did.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first 3 Indiana Jones films. First one, Nazis. Second one, Indian death cult and the third one, back to the Nazis.
Fifth one, Nazis.
Yep.
I think it's important for me to get this out of the way, and it's important for me to say this on record. While I do not hate Raiders of the Lost Ark, I don't really like it a ton.
Really?
There's parts of this that are really cool and I like. I think the plane sequence where, you know, she's in the plane and it's spinning around, that's pretty cool. I think the opening is pretty cool. I think the movie is more or less fine. What I've heard of Raiders of the Lost Ark is like, I'm not watching the same movie that everyone else is watching. I just want to get that out of the way so you guys can have a party.
No, I think that's a good take.
Before the party starts, I would like to, in Bash Brother fashion, tag team this with Aubrey. The opening scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark is fantastic. It's the first 10 minutes of the movie, and it has no exposition. And it clearly has set the standards for like adventure movies and even video games for what they'd all be measured against. I love that it shows a protagonist who's brave but scared, smart but fucks up. He makes mistakes that ultimately could have killed him, like that ball rolling after him because he got the weights all wrong. He's charming but like queerly not liked by his own allies. Like he screws up 10 times over in the first 10 minutes. And in the 80s, when it was like a decade of like unstoppable male protagonists, this was like incredibly rare and subverted it. And so I found that opening sequence like incredible. And watching the rest of those movies, it is like tailored to like a 12-year-old boy, I feel like. And as I was watching, I was like, dude, this just is not for me. It's like incredibly over the top. It becomes ridiculous really fast. And it wasn't set up as ridiculous. It was set up as like realistic adventure where this guy makes mistakes and can have a bunch of problems.
Yeah.
But then it's like he jumps out of a plane and hits the inflatable, and the fact that it was a 400-foot drop is irrelevant. He'd be dead if that happened. And they're like, nah, he's cool. He's surfing down the mountain. I was like, all right. So they went like roller coaster ride really quick, and it was just hard for me to follow. And I do think he's great in that role.
James, when you were describing Harrison Ford's performance in this, were you talking about Han Solo or Indiana Jones? Because it sounds like the same character.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
It is clear that he nails that archetype.
Yeah.
I don't think these movies are that great. I think one of them is actively one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but that's not for many years. It's not in his first three, I'll say that. I just don't find them very good. And the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
That's the Shia one, right?
Yeah. It's like watching a cartoon play out, and that at no point is like tethered to reality. And the movie wants to be realistic and dramatic. And it's just like a nuke goes off and he survives because he's in a lead fridge. It's like, that's not a thing that would happen.
Someone's got to say something positive here. This can't be the Munsons at the movie stand on Raiders.
I don't know. I have like neutral feelings about both Indiana Jones and Star Wars in general. These are two arguably like truly iconic roles. And he's going like straight from set to set. Like if you look at the timelines of when these movies were being made, like Han Solo one week and Indiana Jones the next week, how do you do that? And I think he is in that archetype. You can't venture into like playing a love role or like stick with what you know because you're doing it straight in a row.
Good point.
He calls his agent and is like, just cast me as the bad boy rebel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And make sure it's lucrative. And he's like, got you. Bet.
Yeah.
Tell him to get in Han Solo in this one.
You know what? I've been feeling really angry lately. Could you get me a role where I can act like an angry curmudgeon? Thank you. We got a lot of those coming.
Uh-huh.
That's one of the reasons I like the Indiana Jones character is because he's like the badass rebel who's really into preserving history and archaeology and like the Nazis not stealing history from the people whose country he's in for that movie. I was like, this is not the normal character that you see.
I do feel like he did a lot to make archaeology cool. Like, I feel like he walked so that Josh Gates could run.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Would the Gates family be here without Indiana Jones? Probably not. Would we have Nicolas Cage kidnapping the president? Probably not.
Here's the last thing I'll say about Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones, and I have gotten into arguments at parties about this. I don't think it would be all that difficult to find 5 actors that could have played this role as good or better than him. The character itself is an incredibly well-developed character, and I think a lot of actors could have done this.
I don't know how much disagreeing I'm going to do with you over the course of this podcast, but I will disagree here because
all right,
I agree about the character being well written. The only pushback I offer is that Harrison Ford is outrageously charismatic, and he makes you want to see Indiana Jones do things. And so that charisma fuels the character. And I think he gets credit for that. It's one of those where, like, can you find five actors that are as charismatic as he is at that time?
With the qualifier, that changes.
I mean, now you have several really charismatic people. I don't know how good they play Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
We've seen Indiana Jones type movies, the adventure subgenre. What movie has powered that other than Indiana Jones?
No, it's all because of this. It's not even.
That's what I'm saying. Like, well, the next one is what? Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah.
And they've tried to make them. Like, I think about that Uncharted movie, which wasn't great. They try to make these movies, and they don't work because the person that has to be Harrison Ford isn't.
That's fair.
Blade Runner, 1982, alongside Daryl Hannah.
Iconic.
Returns back to the character many years later.
This is the one I forgot to mention earlier, though. He goes from Han Solo to Indiana Jones to Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Did this movie bomb originally? Because I know it's beloved now, but did it do poorly when it first came out?
No, $28 million budget, $42 million world gross, 91 critic and fan.
Yeah.
It found its life later, though.
Yeah.
Like, it became iconic after its like theatrical run.
You cast Harrison Ford in this role because of how big he was in Star Wars and Indiana Jones. You're like,
oh yeah,
I need a lead, the lead of all leads right now. But it's really not him that steals the show. It's Rutger Hauer who steals the show. There's that iconic scene.
Yeah.
As he's dying, talking about his tears disappearing in the rain.
And this is Ridley Scott, right?
Yep. So I don't love Blade Runner. I like it. I love the filmmaking. I love the writing. I don't love Blade Runner. Part of the reason is Harrison Ford. I think this is a double-edged sword here. You get Harrison Ford because he powers a methodical movie. The problem is this is a film as opposed to like Indiana Jones and Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like Ridley Scott is in his bag on this movie.
Yeah.
So Harrison Ford has to come to act. The charisma only gets you so far, and that's part of my issue with Blade Runner, because Blade Runner 2049, which is also very methodical, I like much more.
Denis Villeneuve, yep.
And Ryan Gosling, not Harrison Ford. And I think that's where this movie kind of struggles with me.
Was the newest Blade Runner a reboot or a sequel? I didn't see it.
Sequel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
It asked Harrison Ford to do more dramatic acting, and that's just not what he excels at, as we know.
Yeah, it wasn't a gear you could get to.
That would include a range of emotions more than just anger and confusion, right? Like, you got to have more that you bring to the table. Or being cocky.
And in a way that demands it subtly.
Yep.
He can't scream his way through it. He's got to convey the emotion.
That's why that Rutger Hauer scene is so iconic, because you're seeing that realization of the type of character he's playing on his face when he's saying those words from the page.
Who else would you cast? You have to get Harrison Ford for this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was rewritten, but both his character and Ryan Gosling's characters were both like very unemotional.
Yeah.
And I know it plays into the grand plot of the movie, but you see, and I'm a sucker for dystopian movies, but you do see that where maybe like the lack of range is hidden by the director being like, yeah, and also this character doesn't really show a lot of emotion. There's a lot of emotional things going on. I don't know if it's an artistic choice or, just playing the cards you're dealt, but yeah, there's not a lot of range in his role.
It's Ridley Scott being a brilliant filmmaker, because this is a great point.
Yeah.
And I think it's why the movie works so well for so many people, because you can very easily overlook it or even like it for the exact same thing that you say. It just doesn't work for me in that way. But if someone were to be like, no, Blade Runner is the shit, I love this movie, it's incredible, they'll get no debate from me.
Take a step back. We're in 1982, and you look back, this guy, we said American Graffiti was 73. It's a 10-year run. Yeah. Think of the magnitude of incredible films he's been in his first 10 years of his career.
Yes.
With American Graffiti, the Star Wars films, Indiana Jones, Blade Runner, and Apocalypse Now. Like, that's just bonkers.
It's an insane run.
It's got to be one of the best.
We've never seen anything like this. I think I'll end this podcast by saying that he's the biggest movie star that's ever existed.
Wow.
It's one thing to step into a character that has already been established and make them, iconic. Robert Downey Jr. being Tony Stark. It's one thing to do that, or to be a Batman or something like that. It's another thing to be the reason someone is iconic and then to do it 4 times over.
Original IP.
Like, that's insane. And like this run, who has done it?
Jim Carrey in the 90s, but that was a comedy thing.
Because Jim Carrey is actually someone I thought about this.
Kurt Russell could have.
Kurt Russell's interesting.
Uh-huh.
Jim Carrey is someone I thought about when I was thinking about this, because Jim Carrey was as big of a movie star as we've probably ever seen also. Give me one Jim Carrey character that's Han Solo.
Nah.
Ace Ventura. That's the closest one. Different genre too, subgenre there, comedy versus action adventure. So he married Melissa Matheson in '83, and James, I believe this is the divorce you were talking about, by 2004. They had a son in '87 and a daughter in 1990, so they were married for just over 20 years.
That is correct.
Right there in the '80s, again, the Jedi Return in '83, the Temple of Doom, which is just a wild experience in '84, and then he gets his only Oscar nom in 1985. In Witness, he plays Detective Book, Oscar, BAFTA, Golden Globe nom. So this would be his most highly decorated awards film. I would go out to say, too, it's probably one of the best versions of angry Harrison Ford you're going to see in any movie that he plays.
Well,
in my humble opinion.
I watched this movie for this exact reason. I like the movie quite a bit. I think he is more or less fine because he's doing a similar bit where it's just like hard-pressed cop.
Well, this starts that whole like hard-pressed cop thing that he does a ton of.
And so he doesn't have to emote. And so what I end up finding more compelling are all the people end up around him. But his love interest, I find her way more compelling, while I don't find their romance compelling. I find her interesting. The mystery around this, how they go about covering it, the way this movie spends time like giving us legitimate Amish culture, I found that to be fascinating. This movie is interesting, but the scene that you are speaking to is part of my problem. He gets to yelling, and he's just yelling. It doesn't mean anything to me. There's nothing really attached to it.
He's very emotionally charged when he's defending them at the end. He's going to shoot them? You're going to shoot her? You shoot all of us?
It's a terrible argument, though. The guy could have very easily been like, yes, that is what I will do.
Also, in that movie, there's a lot of actors from the original Mighty Ducks, now that I think about it, too. Like Hans, the guy who runs the Hawks, Hans. The lawyer.
Oh, that was Hans.
Yeah, the head Amish guy was Hans from the Mighty Ducks. New ducks and old ducks.
It's a good movie.
I think this is he's good, but not great. But you just went on this historic run for the last 10 years. And so he's in a movie that's pretty like well regarded. And the storyline, like justice protecting a kid, it's like, hey, let's give this man an Oscar nom. He ain't gonna win, but we'll give him a nom. That's my take.
He got it because he's famous. This was Harrison Ford's Cherry. You guys remember that movie that Tom Holland did?
No.
After Spider-Man, this Apple TV movie with the Russos. He was like a drug addict. It was not good.
Mosquito Coast. He played Allie. Anybody else see Mosquito Coast? Am I the only one who watched this? Golden Globe nom.
I've seen it a long time ago. Yeah.
It's with Helen Mirren. River Phoenix is in this. Again, I like a sneaky good Harrison Ford performance. He plays like the scientist who moves to the jungle. He can like create ice and he's going to help restore and save, but then he turns into an absolute tyrant over his family and like will not leave, even though they're like, we're going to die. And he just basically goes off the deep end. The quality of what you can find online is pretty bad, so it's kind of hard to watch from that standpoint on YouTube. But it was an interesting Harrison Ford role. I'd recommend it to folks to check out.
It's a well-made story because I think it was remade. It might have been an Apple TV.
It was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Apple TV remake a couple of years ago. I think it was a TV show. Not uncontacted tribes, but under-contacted tribes, we'll call it. So,
but he gets angry and he yells a lot.
One of the great Harrison Ford crimes is that I think we can trace the desire to make action movie stars also incredibly intelligent when they don't need to be. We can trace that back to him.
Yes.
Because Han Solo's an idiot.
Yes.
But Indiana Jones is like a professor. and a doctor.
That's what he is in here, too.
And now he's a scientist. And it's like, Harrison Ford's not a scientist. He's just not.
Working Girl 1988 plays Jack alongside Kevin Spacey, who plays a regular good old-fashioned scumbag. Different genre.
Really wanted to see this.
Is that Melanie Griffith?
Yeah, Melanie Griffith. Office drama.
Was he the main, like the co-star with Melanie Griffith?
Yeah. It's one of the first ones I watched to prep for the episode. It's her and Sigourney Weaver. Figures out Sigourney Weaver's like undercutting her as her new secretary. Sigourney Weaver like busts her ankle overseas somewhere, so she pretends to be her to like bring her business idea to life. And Harrison Ford's kind of like the love interest caught in the middle of it because she falls for Harrison Ford, but Sigourney Weaver had a thing with Harrison Ford. So it's just like a different genre of things that he's doing at the time.
Love interest, come on.
Is this good?
Decent. It's mostly female character driven, which I enjoyed, right? It's really more about Melanie Griffith and Sigourney Weaver.
Yes.
Harrison Ford's just kind of the side story.
This was top of my list of wanted to see but couldn't get to.
At a time where a lot of films didn't pass the Bechdel test, this was probably one of the few in the late 80s that was a little bit more female driven.
That's cool.
This movie was received very well. I mean, it world grossed $103 million and had 83% critic.
It's got good ratings. I recommend it.
I do too. Was Harrison Ford grumpy?
Yes, he was.
Okay, then it's a documentary.
Indiana Jones, he crusaded again in 89. And then 1990, you've got Harrison Ford in a good old-fashioned courtroom drama in Presumed Innocent, played Rusty. Aubrey, did you get around to it?
Oh, yes. I was hoping to watch it because I watched the Apple TV series. When you sent that, I was like, it bumped up to my... I watched it, I think, immediately that same day or the next day. I love this movie.
It's a really good courtroom drama.
It's a fun comparison if you've seen the Apple TV series because he plays the same character that Gyllenhaal plays. And there are some distinct differences between the way that character is portrayed. And I think it is solely based on that actor's ability to do acting.
Interesting. Their actor's ability to do acting, which is such a hilarious way to say Harrison Ford sucks.
Was he grumpy and did he yell a lot?
He was confused a lot, I think.
Yeah, confusion.
Okay.
Like Gyllenhaal has a whole section where he like starts defending himself and is, doing a whole thing. Harrison Ford doesn't really get to do that. Regardless of how you feel about Harrison Ford, this movie's awesome. Watch this movie. It's really good and it holds up.
Cool Raul Julia role too. Good one to check out for him.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Jack Ryan, Patriot Games, 1992. Clear and Present Danger a few years later, returns back to that character.
Yeah.
This is the only Jack Ryan content I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is the first time I watched it.
I think the character has grown, but I certainly would be unfair if I didn't give Harrison Ford credit for giving this character merit on the screen. But it is, again, an incredibly well-written character, because it's a Clancy novel, right?
Yep.
So again, it's an incredibly well-written character that he can get cranky and gruff and scowl his way through.
Good, fun, interesting movie. Parts of it don't work as well than other parts of it. I like it.
Yeah.
It's a good watch.
All right, that's a good segue into our highest critic score, which is 1993's The Fugitive. Aubrey has it. Golden Globe nom, Dr. Richard Kimble.
I had never seen this movie up to this point.
Wow.
Did you enjoy your Pluto TV watching? Was it a good time?
No, yeah, sidebar. Pluto TV sucks.
Why are the commercials so loud?
They're so loud.
And long. And long.
Oh, that's funny.
It's really a 2-hour movie, but it's literally listed at like 245, 250 or whatever, yeah.
You got to watch it on Plex, which is Pluto, but it's so poorly ran that the ads are just blank black screens that count down from 60 seconds. It's like, I'm sure someone paid money to be featured here, but this app sucks so bad I'm just looking at a blank screen.
Pluto TV is so bad that I'll rent this movie next time. I watched this and Witness.
On Pluto?
In consecutive days on Pluto TV. It's more torturous than my day job.
Oh, well, that's high bar. You might even consider stealing this from somewhere to become a fugitive. Anyways, to you, sir.
Oh, jeez.
I can't. All right, so Harrison Ford plays a doctor again. Now he's like a world-renowned surgeon. Because, yep, hey, you want to do open-heart surgery on me? Get Harrison Ford. He is accused tried and convicted of killing his wife, which he says he doesn't do, and gives what has to be one of the most comically funny excuses for not doing it. That's played dead straight. The man with the prosthetic arm is the one that did it, whom I don't know.
It was the one-eyed man.
So when he is being transported to his prison, the handful of prisoners on this bus, I don't really know what their plan is, but their plan is to escape from the bus, which results in one of the guys getting shot in the chest, the bus crashing in what can only be described in the most 90s way possible, with the bus driver being shot in the back with a shotgun, flipping over a railing, rolling down a mountain, hitting a tree, which turns it onto a railroad track for a train who happens to be running at the same exact time to go right through the bus. He is freed from this instance and begins running. The rest of the movie is Tommy Lee Jones, who is playing a sheriff, is trying to catch him. And that's basically the rest of the movie, while Harrison Ford is trying to find and then present whoever actually murdered his wife. Every second of this movie rules.
Attaboy. I was waiting to see it. Yeah, I was waiting to hear it.
Every actual second of this movie rules. I love everything about it. Well, that's not true. I don't love everything about it. I love almost everything about it. There's one crime that I will get to shortly. The stuff that Harrison Ford has to do is really interesting. I think him as an action star works really well here because he is a believable fugitive. I think the way that he is being a fugitive is really interesting. The way he actually gets away, his plan. I love that the movie sets up that they won't catch him. The star of this movie is Tommy Lee Jones. He is on fire.
For sure.
Tommy Lee Jones showed up to set on this movie with the mentality of Case. He was like, oh, they cast me with Harrison Ford. He's not good at this. I'm about to carry this guy to the finish line. The one major crime this movie commits is what it does to Celia Ward.
Oh.
Celia Ward gets no actual time to act. I love Celia Ward in a way that will surprise everyone who's listening. I love Celia Ward as an actor, but I also love Celia Ward. She's great. I think she's a really good actor. I was really excited to see her in this. And then she just gets murdered in flashbacks over and over again. And I don't even know if she says an actual word. And that's the only thing this movie does that really bothers me.
I was almost right. I said Julianne Moore's screen time because she's in one scene. I figured that was what you struggled with. But
yeah.
I'm talking about Dr. Julianne Moore.
That's right. Dr. Moore.
Much more believable doctor. Julianne Moore's screen time is bad. I guess you could chalk this up to my ignorance. I didn't expect Julianne Moore to have a ton of screen time in 1993.
True.
I mean, not that I expected Celia Ward to have, like she wasn't like a massive superstar either, but she also played Harrison Ford's wife. So I imagine she'd get at least a scene of dialogue. Julianne Moore got that. Let the women in your movies talk. That is my stance. It'll always make me mad when you don't do that.
Working Girl is right there, people. It's been laid for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Harrison Ford is like the 9th best actor in this movie. And, most of the ones that are better than him are women, and they talk significantly less than he does. There was room.
I think this is another one where Tommy Lee Jones is another guy that, he looked the same age for, 30 years.
Yeah.
No question.
Because I kept trying to place, what other movies he would have been doing around before and after this, and I was like, do you not age? What is happening?
It seems to be the trick is you want to get to 45 as fast as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll shock everyone when you're 45 10 years later.
I mean, I'm hoping that happens to me.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah. You're going to look like shit early, and you just maintain it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Also, talk about a legendary curmudgeon on screen.
Oh.
Has there ever been a time Tommy Lee Jones has not been grumpy?
Oh, yeah.
Lincoln, holy shit.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite lines in The Fugitive was when they're in the sewer line or whatever it is.
Of course.
And he catches them, sort of, and Harrison Ford's like, I didn't kill my wife. And he's like, I don't care.
Iconic line.
And it was just so Tommy Lee Jones. And I was like, oh, uh-huh. Okay.
It's just like, dude, you're running. I'm going to catch you. He's like, I didn't do it. He's like, I don't give a shit.
It's not why I'm here.
Yeah.
I will say I struggled to get past the fact that the guy that he says killed his wife was this amputee, and that they run that whole storyline without a hint of a smile. We're just glazing right by that, like as if they were like, he had brown hair, and I'm like,
Yep.
I understand where you and Aubrey are coming from, but when I watch that movie, it makes me sympathize with Harrison Ford, because I'd be going insane too if I was like, what else do I need to say? Like, he's got one fucking. Do you want me to read his horoscope?
How many people with one arm's around here?
Yeah, like, you want me to tell you his social security number? What else do you need from me?
It's like, get me in front of health records. I will narrow it down for you like I did. 9 total names. Here you go.
Do you guys want to know the reason why?
Yes.
This was a massively popular 60s TV show that had 120 episodes. And the whole premise was that a one-armed man killed Dr. Kimble's wife in this TV show, but they have 120 episodes where this doctor is searching for this guy, but he's also helping other people solve crimes. This movie was incredibly anticipated because of it being a remake of the TV series.
that is helpful context.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yes.
It's amazing context, and it makes me feel like shit a little bit. There's so many people that are just like, these idiots don't know anything. And I'm like, why aren't you laughing? This is hilarious. I'm taking it in a different direction. I sympathize with him because it would make me crazy, but it would also be embarrassing to talk about. I don't know if I would say anything.
Got your ass beat by a one-armed man.
Killed my wife
kicked my
and
ass,
whooped my ass. And it's just so who killed your wife? I was it's the biggest dude that I could ever have seen. Is probably
It's like a bear. It was a literal bear. It's huge. Every time I hear Kimble, I think of Detective John Kimble from Kindergarten Cop from 1990 with Arnold. And so I'm I feel like I've completed the Kimble sphere at this moment in time there from the 90s.
Kindergarten Cop.
Let's go with it.
They're probably cousins.
This features a scene that is really good for you to watch if you're still debating why some of us don't think Harrison Ford is a good actor. When he's being interrogated, they basically tell him they're accusing him of him killing his wife, and he gets mad. And he responds with high emotion, the way you would anticipate someone to respond with high emotion. And it's literally just him yelling. There's nothing there. I'm watching it, and I'm locked in on this movie at this point. I'm here for it because I have no idea what's actually going to happen, and I'm here for all of this. And I'm still really excited because Cela Ward still might get more screen time at this time, so I'm really excited about everything that's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, he gets to yelling, and I just go, there it is. The thing you need to bring to that moment, he just doesn't have. So he can yell, I don't even really believe that you're upset.
And then you got a Tide commercial from PlutoTV 2 minutes later. And so it filled your heart.
Screaming through your living room, waking up your child.
Oh, loud.
Also, for the people out there, if you're interested in Jane Lynch, a very early, not funny Jane Lynch role. I think it was her 4th role ever or something like that. So I thought that was interesting.
They'd actually let her speak. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have known that was Jane Lynch.
The one thing I didn't mention earlier with Indiana Jones, too, that probably deserves noting, one of the best movie scores ever from John Williams.
For sure.
Top 5. So good.
Do we shit all over it for 10 minutes? Let's circle back 15 minutes later. Hey, the score was fire.
It didn't feel right to include it at that time. Yeah. Just reading the room, talking about the score wasn't going to help.
I said the character is one of my favorites of all times, just not the actor.
Sabrina, Linus, 95 Golden Globe nom. This is one of the ones I wanted to see that I didn't get a chance to. Did I miss out, James?
Let me tell you my Sabrina experience.
Oh, no.
My wife and I, we just visited our friends in Cincinnati, and they gave us THC sodas, which I didn't know existed. And so my wife and I are like, let's test these out. Pick a Harrison Ford movie. And in classic my wife fashion, for those of you who are unaware, she was homeschooled until 6th grade. And the only time it ever really pops up as a point of difference in her upbringing is in regards to the candies that she likes, which are clearly just the ones that were available because of her parents, and the movies that she has pop culture references for, because she knows every romantic comedy from like 83 until like 95. And she's like, oh, we got to watch Sabrina. Sabrina's great. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what movie is this? What is this about? And so we drank those THC sodas and watched this movie, and it was like laugh out loud funny. I don't know if it was intentionally laugh out loud funny, but I enjoyed it so much. The characters are rich, but they're actually so rich that like the whole time I'm just sitting there like talking like an elder millennial where I'm like, whoa, look how nice that living room is. Holy shit, that car is incredible. Wow, imagine that backyard. How much must it cost to do the landscaping in that backyard? That's nuts. Like, that's all I can think of as I'm watching. And the movie itself, the actors are in it are good. It's just the story is clearly the remake of a story from like the 1940s where we're not going to acknowledge that it's a 50-year-old man falling in love with like at her oldest, a 21-year-old woman. It's like, that's not weird. It's just kind of accepted. And I will say Harrison Ford's character, I think the movie would have been actually good if they would have just leaned into letting you know whether or not he actually liked Sabrina. They played it a little too on the line that by the time the movie ends, you're just like, all right, I guess that's the end of it. Instead of being like, hey, he actually does like her, because they don't really let you know if he likes her or not throughout the movie. They go back and forth. So if you're looking for like an older movie to watch that's unintentionally funny, Sabrina was very enjoyable.
What I'm hearing is the THC-laced drinks may or may not have changed how you perceived it. So if you're listening...
Dude, certainly.
Controls, one of you drink a THC-laced drink, one of you go in cold sober, compare, contrast, and then let us know what your thoughts are.
There's a Margot Martindale sighting in that movie, Kyle.
Oh, classic. I need to watch it.
Your boy John Williams did the music, so you missed out, Kyle.
Air Force One, President Marshall. This is probably the movie, the source of why Case dislikes Harry Ford.
I mean, it's just the same character. Angry, get off my plane. I mean, it's just one of the worst lines ever. I just can't.
A lot of GIFs and memes come from Air Force One and his role in this.
I like Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman's a great baddie. One of the best of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Not his first time playing the president. Not his last time playing president. 6 Days, 7 Nights. Played Quinn alongside Allison Janney and Danny Trejo. So we've talked about this a few times. This was the movie Case I was talking about of, I like the movie's plot. I think his love story is bad. Doesn't work. Outside of some racist elements that are built in with the pirates and stuff like that, I like this movie if you watch it purely from a how do these two figure out how to get off this island together type of situation.
As I look back on my life, I realize this is where like Harrison Ford started unraveling for me. And I'm like, I just can't watch this guy anymore. It's this movie right here.
The Millennium hits, 2000. He goes to the horror thriller side and What Lies Beneath. Plays Norman alongside extremely criminally underrated actress Michelle Pfeiffer in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I was shocked this movie got such bad reviews. In rewatching it, it's definitely not the actors' faults. I think both of them are very good in their role. I think the movie itself is not incredibly well put together, but I think he's really good at this, like, distant husband who doesn't realize infidelity is a bad thing. And Michelle Pfeiffer as, like, the slowly unraveling wife. I thought she was great in that role. But the movie itself isn't perfect, but it's definitely not because of the two leads.
No.
As this world grows $291 million.
This is a pop culture film. I mean, they made fun of it in the Scary Movies. When he like leans down, that iconic line of like, I think she might be suspecting something. Your wife, and it's like Ray Ray or whatever from Scary Movie. So this movie like was parodied at the time with some of the stuff going on.
Yeah.
But a different genre. We hadn't really seen this from Harrison Ford up to this point in his career.
With the exception of the your wife part, which is kind of an iconic line. The other parts of the scary moments are like, hey, we're going to really focus in on this shadow in the lake. And you're like, well, clearly something's about to happen. And then something happened. I feel like they wasted good performances from their leads.
I kind of put this in the same category as Stir of Echoes, which came out, I think, in 2002 with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of in the same realm of horror for me.
Yeah.
All right, so he won the Lifetime Achievement Award from the American Film Institute in 2000. It's kind of a big deal. 27 years in your career.
He's done some things.
Began a relationship with Callista Flockhart in 2002. I think they met at the Golden Globes, if I understand correctly. They were married in 2010, adopted a son. 2001, and they live in Wyoming on an 800-acre ranch. I think he has properties in multiple places, but it's one of those actors that's like, I'm going to do my thing out in Wyoming, far from humanity, which is pretty rare, I feel like, in that entertainment space.
Yeah.
At this point in his career, he'd been in 8 films that had been nominated for the Best Picture Oscar. He's also had just completed his 4th straight decade, making over $100 million in box office revenue.
Very impressive.
He must have been struggling because he took on the role of Captain Vostrakov in K-19, The Widowmaker, and he puts on a Russian accent. I made it 10 minutes in the movie, and I turned it off. There's a whole bunch of American actors trying to be Russian, and it didn't make any sense.
And it's one of the few movies that lost money. He's the executive producer.
That's disappointing.
As I mentioned, all those things are the successes in his life. This is also in the, at that moment, record for largest divorce settlement ever just taken place.
That's true. To that point, James, there's not a whole lot notable between 2002 and 2009 because of a lot of the stuff that's going on in his personal life at this time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, let's take it the largest audience gap. Case Crossing Over, 2009.
Crossing Over is a drama that looks at the complex lives of immigrants and weaving together multiple stories. The film was directed by Wayne Kramer, and it tackles a range of issues from document fraud to cultural assimilation and post-9/11 paranoia, which that storyline I thought was pretty interesting. The central character of all the stories is Harrison Ford. He delivers a pretty subdued but decently effective performance as Max Brogan, a ICE agent.
Boo.
Which was very strange seeing a movie from 2009. Current events. Ford, more known for his stoic and heroic roles, brings very quiet importance to the character, portraying him, ironically, as the film's moral compass. Based on the last couple movies we've talked about, that's kind of an interesting place for him to be. Brogan's empathy for the people he is tasked to deporting adds rarely seen aspect of his range, making his character's internal conflict one of the most memorable elements of the story. And this is something I'm going to get back to here in a second, that his performance is actually the most important part for making the story feel more human. Critics panned it, citing it having a preachy tone and a clunky narrative. Audience reviews cited that the film's timely and emotionally charged subject outweighed its structural flaws. Again, I think that the movie felt very human, and that's why audiences liked it. From a critical standpoint, the film suffers from way too many massive coincidences needed to bring stories together. And it kind of reminded me of how you had 4 or 5 different stories running parallel, and then at a certain point, they all cross. Aside from Ford, there was some other notable actors. Ray Liotta was in this, Ashley Judd, Jim Sturgis, Cliff Curtis, Alice Braga, Mahershala Ali was in it, and one of my favorites, Lizzie Kaplan, who played a character named Casey, who's a school teacher. And for those that are familiar with the phenomenon that is Party Down, in that story, she also plays a character named Casey, also living in Los Angeles. So there may be some Party Down, Crossing Over connections here that I'm going to start getting into. But this is a 49-15 fan critic split. I think that the movie's fine. I wouldn't give it 15%. I guess I'd lean closer to the audience, but I also wouldn't reach a 49. It was fine.
Can't say I got to this one, Case. Sorry. Harrison Ford has so many iconic movies and roles, like pop culture staples. This is one of those episodes where when you or I get reviews that no one's ever heard of, it's like, you're going to just be the one who sees that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, after he crossed over, he decided to protect the world from aliens and cowboys and aliens in the late 1800s alongside Sam Rockwell, Woodrow Dollarhide, a movie where Paul Dano gets his ass absolutely kicked, as predicted, in every Paul Dano role ever that has existed. And Daniel Craig doing Daniel Craig things.
I had very high expectations for this movie. Didn't come to fruition.
Didn't like the aliens? Was it Harrison Ford? What was it?
Harrison Ford was a big part of it. I was just very underwhelmed by his same performance that I've seen for the last 2 decades.
The Cowboys came together with the Native Americans. Team effort, right, Case? This is what it's all about. This was trying to teach us unity.
That's right. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Common enemy, baby. 42 played Branch alongside Alan Tudyk, Andre Holland, curmudgeon.
I think he's the owner of the Dodgers. Cranky old guy. Shocker.
The great hero that decided to integrate baseball.
Okay.
Haven't had a hero role since Indiana Jones, so I got to really.
Way to go, Harrison Ford. Yeah, single-handedly, right?
I'm checking to see who gives him bonus points on their Munson Meter for that.
And for ending racism, Harrison Ford gets only 1 point from me.
Oh, Lord. All right, James, take us to his lowest critic score, a movie called Paranoia from 2013. Didn't get a whole lot of love from the critics.
No, and it didn't deserve it. It didn't get a lot of love from the audience either. So Paranoia came out in 2013. It's got an 8% from critics, which is not ideal.
Ooh.
And on the higher end here, it's got a 35% from audience, which also sucks. I'll save you the trouble. Paranoia, not about paranoia at all. It's about corporate espionage, product launches, and the general attractiveness of Liam Hemsworth. I mean, honestly, despite a cast that on paper feels like it should be good, Harrison Ford and Gary Oldman are going at it, two legends who battled it out in Air Force One. This movie, it's as thrilling as like scrolling LinkedIn. It's boring. Variety listed Paranoia as one of the biggest box office bombs of 2013. It only grossed $17 million despite having a budget double that.
Yikes.
The plot is simple and it should work. Liam Hemsworth plays a tech whiz. He gets blackmailed into stealing secrets from one billionaire tech mogul, played by Oldman, from another billionaire tech mogul, played by Harrison Ford. Has a chance to be juicy, right? Except, like, instead of suspension tension, you get, like, PowerPoint presentations and awkward boardroom conversations. I think it thinks it's riveting, which is the reason why people probably gave it such bad scores, is, like, so hard trying to be a movie that it just simply is not. First, though, question for you guys. Liam Hemsworth, has he always been a bad actor and I just kind of missed out on this?
He's no Chris Hemsworth, that's for sure.
He's very, very bad.
Yeah, he's bad in this. Lucky for him, he's a beautiful man, so he's going to be fine.
It's going to work out.
Yeah, dramatic roles and acting might just not be his thing. Let's talk Harrison Ford. He's not doing much better, to be honest. This man is the iconic Indiana Jones and the iconic Han Solo piloting the Millennium Falcon. And in this, he's just like giving villain speeches in boardrooms about stock prices. It's not good. Most of his screen time, he's just like kind of yelling at someone and glaring at them, looking somewhat confused. Really looks like he's cashing a check. The real problem with this movie is it thinks it's a slick techno thriller. Honestly, it's just like a paint by numbers what not to do to make a techno thriller. The stakes never feel high. The twists are incredibly predictable. The dialogue is lifeless. By the time this movie ended, I kind of felt bad for everyone involved, specifically Hemsworth, where it's like he had to have someone like bail him out better because he is awful in this and he gets a ton of screen time. I was hoping that at some point the director would be like, let's just get him into positions where he can succeed because he's not doing well. If you're looking for action thriller with Harrison Ford, watch The Fugitive. If you want a tech drama, The Social Network. You should not be looking for a reason to watch Paranoia. You should not waste your time on it. I did that for you. I won't go as low as a single digit, but I can't go much higher. I'm going to give it a 15 out of 100.
Ringing endorsement. I mean, his character's name is Jock Goddard. You got to think that's an antagonist name there. All right, let's round this thing out. So 2013 to present, as we leave the scenes of Paranoia, 2013 also sparked a big run for him on narrating documentaries, putting your money behind projects you care about, causes you care about. So as all old action stars do, he goes to The Expendables 3 in 2014, because that's what you do. If you're an action star, you end up joining Sly Stallone on one of those sets.
All of these movies are terrible, right?
I don't actually know.
It's like action star porn. Ooh, I get to watch all my action heroes all in one screen together. It's stupid.
But isn't porn enjoyable?
It's
sometimes.
It depends who's listening. All right.
They're all just war versions of Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
I've seen them all. They're on in the background. That's it.
Yeah.
And he plays a grumpy character, which is crazy.
The one thing I took from these movies is someone was asking Randy Couture, it's probably Joe Rogan since he's a fighter, like, oh, you're on the movie with all these action stars. Did it like stand out to you which one is like, the alpha male? And without skipping a beat, he's like, it's Stallone. The guy's insane. And then you hear everyone talk about it and like, oh yeah, Stallone, by far. He's nuts. Like, I don't know why he does the things he does. And it's so fascinating to think with all of those famous guys there that everyone's still like, yeah, Slice.
They point to one. Yeah.
Then we go back to the Richard Gere episode. It's like, yeah, he has a vendetta against Richard Gere spanning back 60 years. Like, the dude's nuts.
That's right. Hey, not one woman. Princess Di.
Princess Diana. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid 2010s was again the sequel territory for him. Returning to characters all those years later. Star Force: The Force Awakens, Blade Runner 2049, making some money off the old IP there. Why does he do Secret Life of Pets 2 other than for the paycheck? I guess just for the paycheck, right? Go do a little voice acting. But when you're old and you just want an easy thing.
Did anybody watch this?
I've seen it.
Do you remember him?
I don't remember him.
Okay.
He played a dog.
I have a hard time with this one because does anyone think he'd be a particularly interesting voice actor?
Nope.
Depends on what the dog looks like. Is the dog a frumpy?
That's so funny.
He looks grumpy.
It's also not like he would have had a young kid at that time. And like,
yeah.
Because sometimes you see actors that do that sort of work because they're trying to make something that their kid can watch.
It feels like a paycheck thing, but like...
Why? He doesn't need the paycheck.
Is Han Solo really looking for a paycheck?
Yeah.
It's an odd choice. Maybe he wants to get into the voice acting game. I don't know. Maybe he'll prove us wrong in a couple years.
Here's the character description for Rooster, according to Secret Life of Pets Wiki. Rooster is often seen lacking expression and emotion. He is seen acting stoic throughout the movie, except when he shows fear when Max tries to save Cotton, and when he shows sadness when Max and Duke leave the farm. He is the boss of the farm. He doesn't tolerate any nonsense from any of the animals, including the turkey.
Yeah, that tracks.
That sounds like a Harrison Ford animated role.
It makes sense why they'd call him. I'm also guessing like Tommy Lee Jones wasn't available.
Or Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
He entered the 2020s by getting a Razzie nom. His role in Call of the Wild. The Razzie nom is for worst screen combo for Ford and a totally fake-looking CGI dog.
It's about time.
The Razzies annoy me so much.
It used to be they were just like shitting on people for the sake of shitting on. And I think they became self-aware at some point because the screen combo for end quote totally fake looking CGI dog is a good way to make a joke of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because the dog did look like shit, but it's when they would just like choose someone who was in a movie that bombed and be like, they sucked. I was like, they didn't suck. The movie just did bad.
Yeah.
The movie's very mid from what I remember. It's not awful.
I was going to say, it's got to not be good.
50 at best. But it's not objectively offensive from what I remember. But unless you're a CGI aficionado. Enters the 2020s, returns back to Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
I will say, after the absolute catastrophe that was Crystal Skull, this one wasn't that bad. I don't like the first 20 minutes of it when they CGI him to make him younger and it looks like you're watching the Polar Express. The rest of the movie's pretty good.
I don't remember hating this Indiana Jones movie.
I remember it was hyped because James Mangold was the director, and people really like Mangold. And they were like, he can hopefully make a good Indiana Jones film.
It's probably too long.
2 hours and 34 minutes, yeah.
Completely fair criticism.
I remember some of the set pieces being really good and really interesting, which is kind of what you expect. Because there's Nazis in this one too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What Harrison Ford offers for anyone who wants to do what we've done is how movies have evolved over time, and it almost makes me sad. Because the description of the first Indiana Jones is, it's really cool, he's charismatic, he fight Nazis. This one was, it takes place back in time while he goes back in time.
Yeah.
and more back in time. And it's just like, the movies have gotten extremely convoluted.
2023, he does something, again, different than we've seen. He goes to the TV side. And he plays a shrink named Paul in Shrinking. SAG, Critics' Choice, Emmy, and Golden Globe noms in this show on Apple TV.
And I've heard he is legitimately good in it.
He is.
He is.
Yeah.
I agree.
His old curmudgeonness works really well. His character is very stubborn. He's like secretly a therapist for the main character's daughter when he doesn't realize it. He's just an old guy. who lives in a modern world, who hasn't adopted modern sensibilities yet.
Is Jason Segel the main character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Segel came up with the concept, which is a therapist could be a really shitty therapist if they're going through a lot in their life, which I think is a pretty
That's funny.
cool concept because, you know, it's one of the realizations you have as you become adults and like your friends become like lawyers and doctors. You're like, that guy's a doctor. I wouldn't trust him like picking up my kid from school, let alone doing surgery. And then that was Jason Segel's kind of motivation for this. And he shared how he came up with it. And it was, he went to relationship therapy with his then girlfriend. She got up to use the bathroom, and the moment she left the room, the therapist was like, well, she's not the one, huh? And he was like, what? He's like, her. You guys aren't going to work out clearly. And he's like, what? He's like, and then my girlfriend at the time came back in the room, and like the therapist never acknowledged what they said. And he's like, now I just had this secret I had to live with it. And he's like, and it didn't click until years later that I was like, I think I was just dealing with a therapist who was going through a lot. I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good way to start a show. Yeah.
That's really funny.
It's a good show.
It makes me want to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's touching. It's funny. It's well done.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, he replaces William Hurt as Thunderbolt Ross in the MCU, Captain America, Brave New World, and becomes the Red Hulk.
I don't think this movie's bad. It's messy, for sure. I don't think this movie's bad.
I agree.
I think the MCU has done a lot of complicated work in terms of how you would receive it post-Endgame. I think what they've done with Anthony Mackie's Captain America is amongst the most interesting. And it's a shame that racism and poor expectations have shit all over that because they did really cool things.
Yeah.
With that being said, Harrison Ford is actively bad in this movie.
Does he play a grumpy character that yells about?
No, you don't watch superhero movies. That is his only reason for existing in this movie.
Case, he is the Red Hulk because the leader knows he has an anger problem and has been giving him gamma radiation pills for years.
Oh,
and is looking to trigger him to go full anger mode. That's why he's hired.
It's literally him battling his anger the entire
It's
time.
almost too meta, honestly, for who Harrison Ford is as an actor.
I don't really blame him. The character itself is part of what's actually messy. I'm not going to lay the failure of Red Hulk at Harrison Ford's feet. I will say he didn't do very much to save it.
Yeah.
Well, and they set him up for failure because they're asking audiences to care about a movie that came before Iron Man that a lot of current MCU fans have never seen nor remember.
Yep.
Trying to remember the storyline with his daughter. People like, who? Liv Tyler was in a Marvel movie? Excuse me? And they're like, oh yeah, that was when Edward Norton was the Hulk. Sorry.
Yep. Which, when on a rewatch, not a terrible movie.
Haven't seen in years. Can't speak to that one.
I will say though, this will be my PSA to watch the Anthony Mackie Captain America stuff because he is doing really good stuff.
I agree.
What they're having that character do is really interesting, and it is legitimately racist critics online that are shitting on this and making it bad. There's a dude that legitimately calls him Captain African American, and I would like to shit on this person every chance I get.
All right, Case. Top performances. I know we missed some other good movies in there, like Frantic and others. So what do you got for us?
I have a article from Vulture, which was originally published in 2017, but updated in 2025 after Red Hulk. And it is every Harrison Ford movie performance ranked.
Holy crap.
And it is written by Will Leitch and Tim Grierson. Now, think more roles. All his franchises are listed as one.
All combined?
Yeah.
We're going top 10 here?
Yeah, I mean, I've got 38. But yes, once we're done with the top 10, we're done. And upon further review, we have talked about every movie but one.
Indiana Jones, I'll take the low-hanging fruit. Thank you.
Numero uno. Well played, Kyle.
No, I disagree with this list already. 42. I'm not going for the low-hanging fruit.
42 is number 19.
I mean, that makes Star Wars number 2, obviously.
Of course.
Star Wars is number 2. Good guess.
That makes number 3, The Secret Life of Pets 2. Obviously.
Yep. Next.
The disrespect to crossing over. Oh, my God.
Secret Life of Pets was not even ranked.
If we're being serious, Blade Runner is 3.
Blade Runner is not 3. Blade Runner is Rick Deckard comes in at number 8.
At least it's top 10.
I think American Graffiti is probably top 10, even though he's not a super huge role in that.
American Graffiti is number 6.
Air Force One, because I didn't get to talk about this.
Air Force One rolls in at number 10.
Ooh.
Just beating out Working Girl, Kyle.
Well, saving me, I guess.
The Fugitive.
Fugitive is number 5.
Patriot Games.
Patriot Games comes in at number 12.
Damn.
Witness.
Witness is number 4. And the other 3 were unique dramas.
What numbers were they, Case?
3, 7, and 9.
Presumed innocent.
Okay.
Presumed Innocent is number 9.
Good job, Aubrey.
So we're missing number 3 and number 7.
Mosquito Coast, number 7.
Mosquito Coast is number 3.
Oh,
Ooh.
I feel so validated. Really liked his performance, so that makes me feel great.
Oh.
What Lies Beneath?
What Lies Beneath is number 17.
Damn it.
Now, this is a movie we didn't talk about.
Ooh.
I feel like we didn't talk about Age of Adeline, but I feel like that's like 30-something for him.
Age of Adeline is actually number 16. A lot of people have talked about that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to introduce the 2010 romantic comedy that we did not talk about, Morning Glory.
Morning Glory is number 23.
Frantic.
Frantic is number 7, rounding out the top 10. So his top 5, Indiana Jones, Han Solo, Mosquito Coast, Witness, and The Fugitive.
Pretty good top 5.
Yeah. Number 1 and number 2 include 5 movies each. So, yeah, pretty good list.
Case, what's the dead last, by the way?
Number 38, Expendables 3 comes in at number 38. Just edging out Hollywood Homicide.
It's because it's not real cinema. It's porn, as Kyle laid out. That's why they don't respect it the same.
And Kyle, you'll be glad to know Hanover Street rolled in at number 35.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does.
Aubrey, all the guys that get really excited about Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze, they probably love the Expendables movies. But we'll move on from there. I know that's Case.
Roadhouse is a cinema classic. Don't you dare badmouth Patrick Swayze. Yeah, speaking of which, Patrick Swayze could have played some of these. Crushed them, too. Talk about charisma.
Rest in peace to that legend.
That's right.
Let's get into the Munson Meter. What we do, we rate every actor on a scale of 0 to 100. It could be based on a variety of factors that could include anything from longevity, project choice, pop culture impact, acting range, awards footprint, other talents, personal life, comedic chops, box office success, or anything else that matters to us as Munsons, such as whether or not we like Nazis. So we will start this time with James.
Kind of set me up to fail with that, so I'd like to state I was the first to detest Nazis on this podcast.
That is true.
I went out on the limb there.
Yep. Point of record, for sure.
Harrison Ford's career is this rare mix of box office dominance, iconic characters, and a lack of range, which somehow makes him more unique, I believe. Han Solo, incredibly charming. Indiana Jones is like a legendary American hero. I think the American Film Institute has Indiana Jones ranked as like the number 2 hero in all of films. Ford cemented himself as like one of the most recognizable leading men in film history, period. He excels at playing the reluctant heroes. Like his characters always seem like to be annoyed that they have to save the day, but end up doing it anyway. He's absolutely not the most versatile actor in terms of range. His sweet spot is very clear, like the dry-witted, gruff everyman. He makes up for it with his screen presence that can obviously carry an entire movie. I really liked his work in Witness, The Fugitive. I think he could handle drama, but he needs to be in the right role for it to work. Over time, he's leaned more into what he's comfortable with, which is the grumpy authority figures, more so than, I guess, the adventurous leads that he started off with. But his star power is not really dimmed. He isn't flawless, but he's definitely unforgettable. He's one of the few actors that have given movies like so many legendary characters that even as someone who started to realize that I don't think I find him to be an incredibly good actor, I think I actually lean more with Case after watching his movies.
Ooh.
But I'm in this awkward spot where he is so successful and so good at what he does that like his movies have grossed over $6 billion in the U.S., $10 billion worldwide.
Yeah.
He's been in 8 movies nominated for Best Picture. He's been in a film that has grossed at least $100 million for 5 consecutive decades. These are like Barry Bonds numbers where you hear them and you're like, that's not fucking real. And then you look it up and you're like, holy shit, that is real. Like, even if I don't think he's that good of an actor, I can't give him that low of a score for just like the stats that he's put on the scoreboard. So for that, I'm going to give him a 82 out of 100.
All right. Aubrey.
This is hard. So a lot of the things that would boost the Munson score make it really hard for me because a lot of those things don't really apply here. I want to see how good of actors these people are. And I don't think Harrison Ford is a great actor. His charisma does a lot. He is a great movie star and arguably the single greatest movie star we've ever seen, which counts for something because, you know, being a part of creating Han Solo and being a part of creating Indiana Jones and all of these iconic characters is not nothing. And it does take ability to do those things. So it is not like he's void of ability in general.
Yeah.
He has talent. I don't think it plays out in the way that you look at actors, you know, from like a real like studious standpoint. This is more like a popcorn situation. I'm looking at movies as entertainment. Harrison Ford becomes a lot more intriguing from a talent perspective. I searched for range. I searched for dramas. I searched for ways that he could show me there was more to him other than charisma, and I just didn't see it. So it's hard to place him somewhere, but I'm having a hard time going above or below 70.
Lauren, our guest Munson.
Man, you guys aren't making it easy tonight.
No. Harrison Ford's not making it easy. Don't, let's point at the real culprit here.
That is true. Yeah. Like, I first learned that we were going to be covering Harrison Ford. I thought about my score, like, immediately, like, without any research or seeing a lot of these movies. And, like, I kind of just thought it would be a lot higher. But then when it comes down to it, I'm like, we're rating him, not his characters, or not, like, we're not ranking George Lucas here. And, like, George Lucas is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That said, I like Harrison Ford. I like the characters he's played, and I think that he has brought charm to them and has certainly had an indelible impact on American film and world film. Even if you've never seen a single Star Wars movie, you know who Han Solo is.
Yeah.
And you know typically that Harrison Ford played him. I struggled with like a rating on this. I think I'm going to go 86.
Love it.
That's what I'm sticking with.
You reserve the right to change your score by the end. You just let us know.
Okay.
If you want to go up a couple points, down a couple points, because people make good points.
Might change after mine.
I was about to say, you're just padding the stats because Case is going to just undercut that significantly. So
yeah,
he's just such a fascinating guy.
Yeah.
On and off screen, we've talked extensively about his lack of range, right? Like, he plays 4 types of roles: angry, confused, cocky, and truly hopeless romantic. And I don't mean that in the romantic sense, like hopeless. It's not going to work on screen. But boy, has he carved out a major career playing those types of roles, right? Like, he got typecast early on. He tried a few things that didn't work out, but he's made one of the best livings possible doing these things that he's really good at. And what's so funny too, like, think of all the VHS covers you've seen with him on it over the years. He's not smiling in any of those. It's scowl, it's determination, it's angry. It's not, hey, look at me, I'm in a Disney flick where, I mean, he's in a lot of Disney flicks. There's a lot of those movies are on Disney, but it's just his personality and what kind of drives him to roles. He's about as good of a bet, box office wise, that you can hire
Yes.
for your project. There are a few, like a couple, where they lost money. Like our last episode, we talked about there were a ton of movies that lost money. Harrison Ford doesn't lose you money in the box office. You make money when you put him in your project.
Yes.
That's hard to do. So, but to the point, he's a movie star, not some kind of tactician who's going to teach you how to do dramatic acting. So it's like, how the hell do you rate somebody like that? And at the same time, I'm super impressed with his philanthropic work, how he's escaped death how many times throughout his life. And I think it's just truly funny.
It's wild
to just come into this and go, what the hell is Case going to do? And I don't want to stand in the way any more of what we've all been waiting to hear. So I'm going to follow James here. I think I'm going to give him an 82. It's a good score.
That's a good, fair score.
Great score, Kyle.
Case, let's see what kind of score you give that's nowhere near 82.
I mean, overall, the guy's a legend, and he's a legit movie star. And ever since Aubrey said at the beginning, I am having a hard time coming up another legit movie star. And the guy's a box office titan. Like I said earlier, I just don't get it. I don't get why Hollywood anointed him the star in the 80s and 90s. But I'm not going to punish him for my bad taste and limited understanding of how Hollywood works. His accomplishments are undeniable, along with the massive impact he's had on films and storytelling. And so I was really trying to come up with an elegant way to get through this. And so I got stuck, and I will sometimes use ChatGPT. So my prompt was, why does Harrison Ford suck? The reply was, that's a pretty strong take. I think you're on your own with this opinion. Most people actually see Harrison Ford as one of the most iconic actors of all time. But I get why some viewers feel he, quote unquote, sucks, depending on taste and expectations. Here are some reasons critics and audiences give: limited range, low energy performances, grumpy demeanor, not a transformative actor. So then ChatGPT said, would you like me to write some roast-style jokes? At which point I said, absolutely. I think this is my favorite one. His emotional range, somewhere between grumpy dad and slightly drunk uncle. If you want to see Harrison act, ask him to pretend to enjoy being interviewed. That's Academy Award level acting.
He does hate that.
I like that one.
He truly despises the circuit.
I digress. Harrison Ford's a legend, no doubt about it. I don't think he has great range. I'm going to give H. Ford, Han Solo, Indiana Jones an 84.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This man has redeemed himself with objectivity. Look at that.
He's number one in the box office.
I respect that.
If he's listening to this, it was Aubrey who's the biggest hater. Look at that.
How do we get here? Where I'm significantly the lowest.
Do you want to change your score?
No, I'm going to stand on business. I'm good. I just can't believe this is where we ended.
It's because you and Kyle have real scores.
As real as Munson World gets, you know.
That's more reason for your score to be insanely low.
You guys have more integrity with your scores. I think my damage was done.
With that abnormally high score from Craig Case, that gives Harrison Ford an 80.80, which puts him in 35th place, just behind John Lithgow and just ahead of Holly Hunter.
Oh, man. Holly Hunter.
John Lithgow's an incredible actor.
Yes, he is.
It's just John Lithgow doesn't, he's not putting up the numbers that Harrison Ford is. No one is.
All right, Aubrey, what does he have coming?
Not much, except for arguably the most Harrison Ford thing ever. Nobody's really attached to it other than him, and it's called The Miserable Adventures of Bert Squire.
Isn't he 80 years old?
Born in 42 to 83.
I mean, call it a day, man.
I mean, he got an 84, so.
Good grief.
Kate and I paused Sabrina in the middle of it, and we're like, he looks so old here. How old is he? And it was like 55. I was like, how old is he now? Is he 100 years old? When did this movie come out?
Is he the oldest living actor we've covered?
No, Maggie Smith, when we covered her, she was 90, I think.
Oh, she was?
Yeah.
Both of these people that we just discussed were alive when Hitler was alive. It's crazy.
That is true. Yes. Top 2 in the box office, too. So that speaks to anything there. All right, next podcast is going to hit September 18th. We've got Dan Craig coming back. He was with us for Chris O'Dowd, Tim Roth, Willem Dafoe, David Spade, Maggie Smith, Will Atherton, and Goldie Hawn. Real quick, here's the list of 5. Just want to fire off Robert Forster, Don Lake, Robert Downey Jr., Michael Stolbarg, and Brenda Birdlady Fricker. What do we love and hate about that list? Or the foster mom from Angels in the Outfield.
Yes.
Or Christy, Daniel Day-Lewis's mother in My Left Foot.
I just always think of Warren when I think of Brenda Fricker. Or was it Margot Martindale? Might have been both.
It's both.
Don Lake, I know his face, but I couldn't guess a movie that he was in that I know him from.
Yeah, I'll pass on Don Lake.
Wow.
And because if you guys remember, Kyle said he's not going to watch a lot because he's going to be on vacation. That makes me think this is Robert Downey Jr. Gotta use your detective skills here.
Personally, I would want Stolberg or Fricker. Those would be my two picks of the litter.
I was going to say maybe it is Brenda Fricker if Kyle's going to be on vacation.
That's a good point.
It's Brenda Fricker. I might be on vacation.
She's Irish, man. Let me be.
Stolberg has got some really, really interesting work. And his career's popped off real big.
He's good. He's really good.
Feel like Kyle's probably seen a lot of those. So it might be that one.
Brenda Fricker is Irish. Just keep that in mind.
Oh, she might be live on the pod. You might go over there and just say hello.
James, remember when we were checking out Doug Jones and Indy over at Bishop Chittard? You never know.
Yeah, that's right.
No, you guys, it's so obvious. It's Robert Forster. Dan Craig loves obscure 90s, and Robert Forster fits that bill to a T.
He does.
That's who it's going to be.
Jackie Brown. Yeah.
Jackie Brown, yep.
That's my vote.
That's the only thing I could think of.
Lauren, if you were going to do a back-to-back, who would you pick from the list?
I'd probably go Brenda Fricker. I think it might be interesting.
Yeah, that's the move.
I don't hate it.
What is happening? I do. What is happening?
I just feel like there's some like rabbit hole opportunity there. Like she's done a lot more stuff like not in mainstream like US film. She's done a lot more films like in the UK.
And she quit acting.
Yeah.
Too. Her and Downey Jr. I think have the best. Downey just for being a cokehead and all the stuff he went through. All that would be really interesting.
You just want to talk about My Left Foot again.
Yeah, dude, she was great in My Left Foot. Totally agree.
Phenomenal.
This movie's awesome.
But here's the thing. Lauren doesn't decide. Dan Craig doesn't decide. The land of Ireland doesn't decide. I don't decide. The wheel decides. And we'll see what happens. Lauren, we've gotten to the mountaintop of talking about Harry Ford. We love having you back. This is kind of your red carpet moment. Plugs of things you're working on, films we should expect to see you on, wise words for our audience. The floor is yours.
I'm going to be honest. A lot of the film I've been watching recently is the little Einstein aquarium in my son's room, which is not actually a screen at all.
I know the exact one you're talking about.
He's obsessed with it.
So this is a nice return to other types of films for you. That's what I'm hearing.
Absolutely. Actual movies versus like just whatever snippet of a movie is on when I turn the TV on. It's been nice to like watch whole movies and see the plot line through.
I remember those days vividly where you'd be like, I'm speaking to another adult. I can just say I'm going to the bathroom. I don't have to say I'm going potty and I have a tummy ache. Like I can use like actual adult words. Like,
yes, I was not discussing sleep schedule or diapers at all this evening. It was nice.
Nice. That's a win.
Well, we love having you back. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Absolutely.
Right on.
Absolutely.
As we wrap things, you can always catch us on Instagram and Threads, Munsons at the Movies. You can email us, munsonsatthemovies@gmail.com. Any final thoughts from Harrison Ford?
Atrocity and terror are not political weapons. And to those who would use them, your day is over. You will no longer tolerate it. You will no longer be afraid. It's your turn to be afraid.
Munson's Out.
All right, let's go. Thank you for the education, gentlemen. We've just received a PhD in stupidity. Doctor, shall we?
I didn't kill my wife! I don't care!